Hello, this is William Perkins again. This video is some value tidbits for making cold calls via the phone and how to try to make more appointments via the phone. When cold calling, again from a previous video, there's three things you want to focus on: who the decision maker is, an appointment with a decision maker, and obviously to make a sale. It's a lot more difficult to make the sale over the phone. It has happened, but most times you're going to make an appointment and you're going to go in and do a presentation to make that sale. So when you make that phone call on a new prospect, always try to get as much information, or try to get as much information prior to the phone call, so that you can have some better understanding of what the business does, where they're located, how they compare to their competitors, what they do, what they don't do, and try to know as much as you can. And some of the ways you can do that is simply by going to their website and reading about what they do. Maybe looking at some of their ads that they've done in other places, some of your competitors, maybe TV, radio, things of that nature. But especially if they've done print somewhere else, looking at those ads and having a better understanding of their business and what makes them good and what makes them different and unique. And then when you do call them, again, you need to find out who the decision maker is. So when you make phone calls on businesses, they're used to salespeople calling. They're used to, they've got very easy and very unique ways of getting rid of you. You never know what's going on when you make a phone call to them. They may be in the middle of something. They may have had a customer issue they're trying to fix. An employee may have called in sick, may have not showed up. They may have had an employee conflict. You never know. Hopefully when you call them, they're not doing anything. They're just waiting for your phone call, but that rarely happens. So you've got to be, you got to know what you're going to say. You got to be quick and to the point. You got to build value in your product or brand, or in the town money saver, to get the appointment, for them to give you some of their time. And I always try to relate cold calls on the phone. I think of myself. We get telemarketing calls at home, and of course we don't answer most of them. But when people call on the phone, if they call up and say, "Hey, I'm John, and I'm with ABC Insurance Company, and we're AAA rated, and blah 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 blah, and we've got all these awards and everything else," I'm like, big whoop. It didn't matter to me. It didn't have any meaning to me. So when you make a cold call on a business, you really got to try to find a way to make the cold call about them, and why it's important for you to get an appointment with them. So first off, though, we need to find out who the decision maker is. So one of the ways I'll do this sometimes, I'll say, hey, if there's a couple ways of doing it, but I'll say something like, hello, my name is Will. I'm with the Florence Town Money Saver, and we work with a lot of other people in your industry. And I wanted to find out if I wanted to drop off some information or send some information, who would I need to send it to that handles the marketing and advertising? And that way, if it's the person that answered, they can say, well, it's me. And or they'll say, hey, it's John or Mary or whatever. And at that point, I'm going to ask a few more questions. I'm going to say, well, is John or Mary the owner? Or I might say, if the person I'm talking to is not the decision maker, I'll ask them some questions I wouldn't necessarily ask John or Mary directly. So I might say, hey, is John, what position is John or Mary? Are they the owner, the office manager? Are they in right now? What time of day do they come in? I might even be as bold as ask what kind of car they drive. Just to find out, when I stop in a place, I don't want to stop by a place 5 or 6 times. It's a waste of time and then never be there. So if I know they drive a black truck and they always park it on the side of the building, you know what I'll be looking for. So try to find out as much information as you can about them. And then I also would say, hey, would you mind if are they available? Could I talk to them for a minute? I'd like to see when would be a good time to maybe drop something off. But I also want to make sure I drop off the right kind of information. And I might want to ask them a couple quick questions if they've got just a second. And then I'll, ask, when they come on the phone, or if they're the one that answered the phone, they say, well, I'm the guy you would need to send it to or drop it off. What is it you're sending? At that point, I'm going to say something like, hey, my name is Will. I'm a small business owner like yourself, or hey, I'm an independent sales rep like you're, here in the area. I'm a local. I'll usually put in something in there about being local, and and I'll try to always come up with some sort of value tidbit that I think will have meaning to them about us. I don't want the call to be about us per se, but I want the call to be more about them. But I'll say something about us. So if it's a, if I know the business targets women, I'll say, hey, we're that little magazine that targets moms in the area. Or if I know the business is maybe home improvement, I'll say, hey, we're that little business that knows out to all the homes in the area. So, the way I say what I'm doing, I'm hoping that we'll catch something for them. They'll be like, oh, you're that, oh, okay. Well, which one of those, which one are you? So, I'll try to throw in some sort of value tidbit that I think might be a little hook to grab them. And then the next part of it is to say, hey, that we work with other people in their industry. So, if they are a karate studio, I might say, hey, John, we're that little magazine that mails out to families in the area, moms and dads and kids and so forth in the area, and we mail all the homes in this general area. And we work with other karate studios around the state, around the county, around the city that have had a lot of success with us with our marketing programs in the fall. And I wanted to see if I could get a couple of minutes of your time to come in and share, to learn more about you and to share with you what we're doing with other karate studios in the area. And then if it's a fit, you can let me know or get back with me. Would that be fair? And so I'm making the call about him. I'm telling him I'm going to bring him information about other people. And this is very valuable because a lot of these business owners are so busy focusing on their own business, they don't have time to see what the competitors are doing. And a lot of business owners in today's world, there's so many advertising vehicles and choices, they're all struggling to find out something that works, that gets them a lot more return than they know. So if you say, hey, I work with other karate places and it seems to work, I'd like to show you what they're doing. A lot of them will say, well, yeah, I'd love to see what they're doing. I won't guarantee I won't buy anything, but I'll look at it. That's what you want. You're just pushing for an appointment, an opportunity to present. Again, back to the cold call, back to like a telemarketing call to your house. If someone calls you at home and says, hey, I'm John, I'm with ABC Insurance Company, and we're all these great things and AAA rated and everything else, again, you might be saying big whoop. But if they call and say, hey, if they called me and they said, hey, Will, I'm John with ABC Insurance Company, and we're one of the largest insurance companies in the state of Kentucky, and we specialize in creating insurance programs for people that are in sales, and with people that drive a lot of miles, and people that are in their car a lot, and we have special programs for them, and we work with several other salespeople around the state. And we'd like to maybe get with you and show you what these other salespeople are doing and how they're benefiting from our insurance programs. Now, that may or may not get me, but it has a lot better chance of getting me because it has something that connects to me as opposed to just, hey, we're this great insurance company. So it's real important to build value in the appointment. Why would they want to see you? They were in business before you called, and they're going to be in business when they hang up. In their mind, they don't need you. You got to give value for giving you time to see you, and that value comes in a lot of times in being able to share with them what other people are doing that are like them. So if they're a franchise, I might say, hey, we work with other Subways. We work with other blah, whatever that franchise is. Now, be careful, obviously, before you've called them, I would hope that you went to our ad library and you've done a search to make sure that we do sell other Subways, or we do sell other fireman subs or whatever it is, to make sure that we have something to show. Now, if we don't, if there's some sort of new franchise out there that we don't have something of, we'd probably just change the wording a little bit and say, hey, we work with other sub shops, we work with other sandwich restaurants, and I'd like to share with you what we're doing with them to see if it's a fit for you now or down the road. Now, again, they'll typically a lot of times give you maybe the objection of, hey, our budget's spent right now, call me in 3 months or whatever. And I think I talked about this before in a previous video. Again, I'm going to push past that. I'm going to acknowledge it, but I'm going to push past it and push for the appointment. Hey, John, I appreciate that this issue is out there, and it's going to prevent you from buying right away. But the purpose of what I want to do is I've got this great information. I want to get it out and share it with you. And that way, when you're ready, you can contact me. Plus, I want to learn a bit more about you and your business and your challenges. And that way, when I see something that I think will be important to you, I can maybe send it to you. Is that fair? How would tomorrow be? 2 or 4? And then push for the appointment. Already have an idea of when you want to go on the appointment. So be ready. Know your calendar. Know when you're available. Know when you're going to be in that area. And basic Salesman 101 is be ready to, when he says yeah, come on, when you coming, be ready to say, hey, how about tomorrow at 1 o'clock? Okay. So when you make phone calls, do your research online. Know how you can bring value. Know that we can help them, and be prepared to sell that to the person you're talking to. So that's it for this video.